Our next guest says Alphabet will be the best Mag 7 stock for the next year. Deepwater's Gene Munster joins us now. That's a bold, bold, bold statement. Why?
Scott, it's for two reasons. Number one is that this bear case around them being able to compete and navigate with generative AI taken away from search, that bear case has been essentially addressed by them accelerating search from the June quarter, then again comfortably beating by 300 basis points the growth for the street in the September quarter, giving expectations that show that we're in a good place. Essentially, they're capturing all of this renewed interest that people have in finding out information and trying or tunneling that into search revenue. And the second piece is that this gets by to why the stock is up today, is that this Gemini showing that they, in fact, have the chops to compete toe-to-toe from a large language model perspective against OpenAI is encouraging for investors that the company's culture has been reignited to compete. And so what that's important is that over the next year, you're going to see more distribution. That's what the playbook's going to change for next year around these chatbots. Keep in mind that it's only about 20% of the Google population uses a chatbot daily. Big opportunity, and I think as they expand that, the multiple will go up.
So why wouldn't I assume that ChatGPT will get more distribution and pull it away from whatever you think Gemini 3 is going to deliver, and then the stock Alphabet has already had an amazing run. So isn't a lot of what you're suggesting already in the stock?
Well, let me take the second part first. Is as of right now, it's trading at 28 times the next 12-month earnings, and that's in line with the rest of, I'll call it the Mag 6. Tesla aside here, it trades at 170 multiple, so take that out of it. So yes, it has moved up, but essentially it's that regain on that first part that we talked about, competing in search has kind of allowed the multiple to kind of get back on par. And so I think that is understandable. And then the second on the distribution question, if we look at what OpenAI has done such a good job, they've been great at building the brand. Of course, they are the brand when it comes to chatbots. The good job part is them using Apple's distribution. That has not worked for them to date. They'll get another crack at that, of course, next spring when the new Siri comes out. But if you think about Google's distribution, it's just habitual. At the end of the day, there's 2.5 billion people use Google search daily, and that compares to my estimates of about 500 million daily ChatGPT users. They give a metric of 800 million weekly.
But one is young, one is incredibly mature. You would, of course, you would expect those numbers from a search engine that's been around for forever. Relative to OpenAI. The other thing is 30 times forward for Alphabet must be significantly ahead of their historical average.
It is. If you look at the historical average, it's 20 over the past 5 years. It's a 23 multiple, so it is measurably above that. But I wouldn't put it in the category of egregious, and I think there is, I mentioned the multiple expansion, but there is upside to earnings as well. But I want to get back to this point about the old versus the new. I think that's really important just in terms of the brand piece to this. Is indeed OpenAI ChatGPT is the new generation. I mean, it is Google has this kind of dusty kind of brand, but at the end of the day, again, Google is a habit for people, and so as they can convert, and you're seeing it as they're kind of encouraging AI mode when you get an AI overviews with a typical search, and then it gives you a button for AI mode. But if they start to steer some of that traffic into a pure Gemini mode, you can see them building a big $20 a month business. That's 80% of OpenAI's business today is the consumer side of ChatGPT. And so I think that there is, agree the brand is old, but I also think that it's also a habit, and I think that that's an opportunity for Google.